Hello students, how are you all? Hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to talk something about a topic cell, which is given in your book as a extra knowledge for you. And you should know about cell also because it is going to be useful for you in the higher education. So now let us discuss about the cell. So without any further delay, let's get started. Okay, so this is cell. So what do you understand by cell? Have you ever heard the term cell? Okay, if you have not heard, I'll tell you what is a cell. A cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Now you'll ask, we have never heard about this. So I'll tell you about the cell. Is that you might have seen any of the construction buildings and all. There, the buildings are made up of many of the bricks. One by one, the bricks are layered there. Means like this, the bricks are layered one upon the another, and they form the whole building. The same thing happens with the animals also, or any of the living things. It may be plants, it may be animals. So what the function is played by bricks in the formation of a building or construction of a building, the same thing happens with the living organisms, and that function is played by a cell. So we can say a cell is that thing by which any of the living beings are formed. It may be humans, it may be animals, it may be plants. So now you understood something about the cell. A cell is a basic unit of life, or we can say it is the smallest unit of life. One upon the another, many of the cell comprises to form tissue. Now I'll tell you one of the thing. See what happens. Many of the cell, or we can say group of the cell comprises, means cell plus cell means many of the cell comprises to form tissue. Understood? Many of the cell comprises to form tissue, and after that many of the tissue plus tissue comprises to form organ. And you know about the organs. We are having two organs, that is the internal organs and external organs also. What are the internal organs? That is heart, liver, our brain. These all are the organs. So many of the tissue comprises to form organ, and many of the organ comprises to form an organ system, and many of the organ system comprises to form an organism. Now you understood. We are the organisms. We are made up of many of the organ systems. What are the organ systems? We are having digestive system, we are having circulatory system, we are having excretory system, and this many systems we are having, nervous system. So these are the systems of organs. And what are the organs in those organ systems? If I say we are having circulatory system, in that circulatory system, what is the main organ? Heart. Heart is the main organ which pumps the blood to circulate the blood in the whole body. So that is the main organ of that. And how the heart is made up of? Heart is made up of many of the tissues. And by which thing the tissue is made up of? Tissue is made up of cell. So we can say cell is the smallest unit of life. So many of the cell comprises to form the whole organism. So we can say cell is the structural. It gives a structure to any of the living organisms. You have seen plants are having different structures, humans are having different structures, any of the animals, say dog is having a different structure, tiger, lion, elephant, rat. They are all different organisms, and they all have different structure, and that structure is given by the cell. So cell is the structural, and also it is a functional unit of life, because as we know, many of the organs what we have, they all perform the different functions. Like heart performs only the function of pumping the blood, and what the function is performed by the lungs perform the functions of respiratory system. What is the function performed by the kidneys perform the function of filtration of blood. So these all are having different functions. So we can say cell is only the thing which provides structure also and functional also to the life of any of the living organisms. So that is about the cell. Now, how many types the cell is? A cell is mainly of two types, that is prokaryotic cell, and second one is eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cells are those cells which are not fully developed. Now I will also tell you how the cell is fully developed later about this. Prokaryotic cells are those cells which are not fully developed, and eukaryotic cells are those cells which are fully developed. So prokaryotic cells are mostly found in bacteria, or we can say single cell organism. You might have heard about single cell organism, that is amoeba, paramecium, any of the bacteria you might have heard. They all are single cell organisms and they are prokaryotic in nature. And we or any of the living beings, the humans, the plants, any other animals are made up of eukaryotic cells. Now what are eukaryotic cells? They are the fully developed cells. They are the fully developed cells. Now what do you mean by partially developed or underdeveloped or fully developed? That means in prokaryotic cells they lack nucleus or the nuclear membrane, cell organelles, these all things they lack, but in eukaryotic cell they have all the things, that is cell membrane, nuclear membrane, all the organelles inside the cell for performing different functions. They all are having those all things. That's why eukaryotics are known as fully developed cells, and it is found in the humans and other living animals, and prokaryotic cells are found mostly on the bacteria, viruses and the single living organisms.
So students, here you can see the difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Here you can see the prokaryotic cell is not having the nucleus or the nuclear membrane, and in the same you can see in the eukaryotic cell. The eukaryotic cell is having the nucleus also, and it is surrounded by a membrane also. It is having all the cell organelles, ribosomes and endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi body, all the cell organelles are present, and the cytoplasm is also there.
Okay students, so now we will see something about the structure of cell, what all things inside the cell is present, and now we'll see about the on the basis of presence or absence of cell wall. We can say on the basis of presence of cell wall, cell is of two kinds, that is of plant cell and animal cell. Because we know that there are two different types of living organisms. Mostly they are categorized into plants and animals. So in plant cells, the cells are surrounded with a cell wall. In plants, the plant cells is surrounded with a cell wall, and in animals there is a absence of cell wall, or we can say the cell wall is absent. So on the basis of presence of cell wall, it is of two kinds, that is plant cell and animal cell. Plant cell is having cell wall, while the animal cells do not have cell wall. So now let us see a simple structure I have drawn for a cell. I will show you the correct images also. So now just to understand this, now let us see. The cell is surrounded by a thin membrane. That membrane is known as cell membrane, or you can also say it is a plasma membrane. Cell membrane or plasma, the outermost structure of a cell. This one, the outermost structure of a cell, which I am showing you with the blue color. It is the cell membrane, or you can also say it is a plasma membrane. Inside this there is a fluid suspended in the whole cell. There is a fluid filled inside the whole cell. That fluid is known as cytoplasm. That fluid is known as cytoplasm. That cytoplasm is filled in between the cell membrane and between the nucleus, between the cell membrane and nuclear membrane. So this is what? This is a nucleus, and outermost structure of nucleus is known as nuclear membrane. So between the nuclear membrane and cell membrane there is a fluid filled. That fluid is known as cytoplasm. It is the living content of the cell, and in that content there are many of the cell organelles suspended over it. That cell organelles are, firstly it is rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is attached with nucleus. Second is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It is also attached with the nucleus. Then there is a mitochondria. You might have heard mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, which gives power to the whole cell, and because of that power the cell works, completes its function, and we the organisms do the work. So that is the mitochondria. After this there is a Golgi apparatus. This is the Golgi apparatus, one of the cell organelle. Then there are ribosomes, small structures over there in the cell. They are known as ribosomes. Then there are some other vacuole type of organelles present, that is known as vacuoles. So this is a typical animal cell, and in the plant cell there will be a cell wall. There will be a cell wall like this, that I will show you in picture, the correct image. There will be a cell wall, and inside that cell wall there will be a cell membrane. So that is a plant cell, but in animal cell the animals don't have the cell wall. Then one more change is there in the plant cell is that the plant cell is having this vacuole in bigger size, while the animal cells are having the vacuole in small size. Now what is the functions of those different organelles that you will study in your higher classes? For now, just to understand what the cell is, what all things are there inside the cell, this is enough for this particular class. So hope you have understood. Now I am going to show you the images of plant cell and animal cell. So students, hope you have understood about today's topic. This was all about the today's video, and here are some questions for you to do in your home. The first one is define cell, and the second is draw the well labeled, you have to label the diagram, draw the well labeled diagram of plant and animal cell. You have to draw both the diagrams which I have shown you. Draw the well labeled diagram of plant and animal cell. That is all about the today's video. Hope you have understood. Thank you.